Yeah, welcome to football teaching. All football lovers around the world, maybe uh, current footballers, professional footballers. Like I told you last Saturday, that there will always be something to learn from this book called 12 Keys to Unlock Your Professional Football Career. I promise that we'll be going to the key number one today. Little did I know that I've not discussed about why do many talented footballers never made it to the top. Last week we talked about a few things, which is what is football, who is a footballer, and we ended up on who is a professional. And that is where we stop before the 10 minutes elapses. And today we're going to go into why do many talented players never made it to the top. This is very important. It is a fact that there are enormous football talents around the globe. And there are numerous examples of players who've played under 15, under 21, under 19, yet never made it to the top. There are several of them like that, and I can remember one of the great talent that even Alex Ferguson said, this is the biggest talent that have come out of Manchester United youth, but he never made it. His name is Morrison because of his character. Some have never tasted life at the top club side yet are better than the ones that we are seeing. But there are eight major reasons why many of these great talents. Myself, I had a lot of younger players that I trained while in Nigeria, and they never made it to the top. These are rubber-like kind of players, the utility players that can play from any side. But number one is injury. Injury and premature ways of handling injuries. I had one wonderful talent called Nwabeze Adibeli. This is a top talent, but unfortunately never made it to the top class football. Football injuries are deadly and they've ruined the careers of numerous numbers of world-class soccer players. I call the American call it soccer. We call it football in the UK. And their life is ruined. One example is Fernando Torres. It is true that somehow Fernando Torres made it to Liverpool from Atletico Madrid, but never made it big. There are players like Abu Dhabi. These are top talent. Even Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, they came to the limelight, but they never live up to their potentials. And several players are like that in the grassroots level that are even better than Ronaldo, R9, better than Abu Dhabi, better than Fernando Torres, but they have never ever made it to the top. And if we look at the process that produced Ronaldo and Messi, they are children of necessity. When you look at Messi, is being denied because of the growth issue in Argentina. No club wanted to sign him until his father brought him to Argentina. And this is, his father brought him from Argentina to Barcelona. And this is why Messi felt very reluctant to leave Barcelona until he had to move to PSG, because they are the only club that accepted him, and he became one of the greatest players that ever played. Ronaldo also was a child that the father was a drunk, and this is why you see Ronaldo move around with the mom today all over the world. Number two, we talked about number one, injury and premature ways of handling injuries. It's really affecting a lot. And when you look at ego, huge ego, some players have too big ego to become great. Like that Morrison, I'm telling you, he has an ego issue, and this is actually ruined his career. The best footballer is valued for being part of a successful team over being simply a successful player. I mean, if you think about it, the vast majority of greatest players of all times were a part of a successful team. Yeah, if you want to say you are an individual player, I can do whatever I like, it's only others who are passing ball to you. When they refuse to pass the ball to you, you become very useless on the field. So if you have an ego that without you, the team cannot play, they will always come together and play because the best players always play with the team. If you have an ego and this character brought you down, it is going to affect you. Number three is lack of self-reflection. Lack of self-reflection. One thing that separates the very good players from the great ones is the ability to analyze one's performance and acknowledge your weaknesses. If you can acknowledge your weaknesses and reflect over the things you have done, nobody needs to tell you about your weaknesses. Once you can reflect back on the games you have played and you'll be able to improve. This also plays into the huge ego point I I mentioned earlier. It's hard to watch film with someone and point out all your errors, especially when you think you played a good game. Once you are open to admitting your shortcomings as a player, the quicker you are able to excel. You must be able to acknowledge your weaknesses. Number four, pressure, peer pressure. To be a top player, you have to know how to handle distraction in your life because some people are prone to distraction. It is very easy. So many players are prone to distraction. This is why you see players playing very well and other people hang on his performance and they take him away. Before you know it, the player becomes clubbing. He turns his profession into pleasure and turns pleasure into profession. This is why many players lost it along the way. And this was what happened in the book of 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 21 to 23. It says, where some 42 youths are mocking prophet Elisha, and they were eaten up by two female bears called out of the tree by Elisha. So they are mocking the man of God, and from there, so many of them who never be part of that, a bad egg led them to that. Number five, laziness not to be bought in. Many top players, senior players are bought in, hands down. This means that their whole world revolves around their best, the best player. Their whole world revolves around being the best player. Sorry, they have to be the best player, not just only on the training ground, but they make sure they get adequate rest, eat properly, and engage in injury prevention training sessions. So you see, these things are all easily said and done. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 17 says, because of laziness the building decays, and through idleness of hand the house leaks. You must be able to know when to do injury preventing training so that you don't get injured, you eat properly, you have adequate rest. It is very important. And number six is wrong team environment. When you are in a wrong team environment, it can also affect you. I said number one, let me go back again. Number one is injury and premature ways of handling injury. Number two, huge ego, lack of reflection. Number four, peer pressure. Number five, laziness not to be bought in. And number six, I say wrong team environment. Some players can be very good sometimes, but at the same time, they are in the wrong environment. It's just like an example of Leighton Bain. When he was playing for Everton, he was good enough to play left back, but Ashley Cole was there. Number seven is parental obstruction. There are so many people, due to the fact that some parents fail to make it, they become an obstruction to their players their children who are very talented, and they cause a lot of confusion. I also remember Moses in the Bible, whose story was very defensive to the call, whose father was very defensive to the call of God upon his life. Moses was very defensive. God is calling him to go and he's saying, I cannot be, because his father has trained him to be a journalist, going to spy on his brother and coming back. He is refusing the call of God, very defensive to go to where God is calling him. And lastly is some European easy governmental support. This has really affected a lot of people. As a volunteer myself, who has lived for many years in the European countries like in the UK government has built a system to support almost everyone in need, no matter who you are, your circumstances, race, religion, or ethnic background. They have a system that surrounds people. And this is why one of those areas where you see so many talent could not make it, because they know that it's easy for me to get a little support without working at all. I will be supported by the government. Whereas their potential can bring billions into the country, into their family, but due to laziness and lack of recognition of their talent and not knowing what to do, they make sure they sit their bum on taking only benefit rather than moving forward. It is good to have, for a government to have support. But when they discover that this is a huge potential, it is very important that the government of any country supports that talent to become great, as long as it's been fished out, so that talent, that potential, because I know that footballers can fall into this category, whereas those talent in IT don't fall into that because they will be trained. And this is already 11 minutes, and I've told you 8 important reasons why many great talents never made it to the top. I thank you very much, and I'm very, very sure that next week again, we will bring you the number one key. Like I said, we have seen all the foundational areas now being taught. Thank you very much. And once again, Timothy Olugbenga Daniels.